So after that recent little rant that I just did about a big name band that I'm not going to talk about for probably a little bit because I'm kind of grumpy about doing it, I bring to you a band that totally deserves your ears. Red Usurper. Finally, I am actually going to get around to doing this review. As I mentioned at the start of my first video today, I'm getting to the point now where doing reviews throughout the week is kind of being a huge pain in the ass unless it's prior to a release date. I just find the weekends I have more time to do stuff and I can concentrate better. So, Red Usurper is releasing on September 25th a 3-song EP that clocks in at a total of 24 minutes. You don't say. This has got probably some of the heaviest shit from these guys that I've heard in the last few years. I've seen them live numerous times, so I'm well aware of how their first record sounds. And while that is a experience unto itself, this surpasses it. After the departure of Matt Vale, their bass player, and their drummer, Tyler Murray, the boys went and decided to re-recruit Jason Keary on the drums. Jason's been around these guys forever. He literally doesn't live that far away from them in terms of distance. He comes back into the fold, and Jason and the guys, when they get together, they make some of the best music probably in the city and surrounding areas. Now, there are other bands that do technical death metal, death thrash, really metalcore type stuff. But when you talk about heavy, slower is heavier. And in this case, they win. Now, this isn't a fucking pissing challenge to all the other bands. No band's going to do what these guys do, and no band's going to do what anybody else does. Red Usurper slow the tempo down a lot. In some cases, they have a bit of speed, but it's like, and I'll get to that part of it. They really, really know what the fuck they're doing. And I know a lot of slow and heavy bands. There's Grim Reaper, there's Psalm, and of course many more. I'm just picking on those two because, with Red Usurper, when it comes to the Red Usurper guys, they slow shit down and they make it fucking skull-cavingly heavy. And not once while listening to this 3-song EP, because I've been listening to it this morning, do I ever want to change the song midway. Now, with, of course, no bassist looming in the distance at the time, the band decided to set off and write and record their next masterpiece. So this comes to us in probably one of the best titled and best album cover I've seen in a long fucking time from any band in this city especially, but in the Maritimes. Now, Zom does their own thing, but this is just black and white. It is, I should say black and gray, because, I mean, if you want to get white, like it's, white's more vibrant. When you look at it, and you're just like, Jesus, Murphy. Of bones and rags, and the of is not OF, it's OV. So I'm like, oh, it's sort of black metal-ish with the OV part. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure the guys will correct me, which I'm okay with. Mike Foster and Steve English maintain their helms on the guitars. Fucking flawlessly, might I add. But Steve's also playing bass on this record because there's no bass player, as they didn't have a bass player looming in the distance. Scott's still at the vocal helm. the four of them just tighten the fuck up and say, let's kick ass. And kick ass they did. And they just really pulled it together hard on this record. Okay, like, and I mean, I know it seems like I'm kind of going off a little bit, but sometimes I get a little bit scatterbrained when shit's this good, even with my notes here in front of me. So what they did after they recorded it, they went out and got Marcus Webster. Some of you hardcores that know from back in the day, a band called Burnt Black from Yarmouth. The same bass player. He's now with Red Usurper. I can't wait to see these fucking dudes live. Holy shit balls. Now, for the review in itself, with how these guys do their recording, it seems like they're going to probably use Adam Langtang going forward. And really, it's not a bad thing. Because when it comes to recording, this guy just has it down. I don't know what he's using. Adam, if you want to drop a comment below, go ahead. I don't know what you're using. I mean, I actually have a picture up here, and it looks like Reaper, but if it is, it's kind of like a different maybe a different version of it. I'm not 100% sure. Adam, just fucking have at it and let me know what you are actually using. Of course, in the comments below. He's been recording these guys, and he did the first record. He's done this. He's just a genius. He just knows what he's doing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Then they sent it off to be mastered by the one, the only Scott Miller, who is actually a member of Antithesis, and those motherfuckers know how to kick ass. Now, Adam is actually Scott is one of the main men behind Ancient Temple Studios. As I said, the release date is September 25th. Now, are you a fan of slower, sludgy riffs? Doom riffs? Some stoner riffs? Then if you are, I highly, highly suggest you get this. All of the Red Usurper classic tones are here. Every ounce of it. Okay? Heavy, slow, beefy, doesn't even begin to describe this EP. And I know I mentioned earlier that, I mentioned a lot of this stuff, but I have to reiterate it because of how fucking good it is. Now I'm going to throw out some band names of comparables from what I hear. Because when I listen, I normally have, my sort of brain Rolodex kind of starts spinning around. And when I hear certain things, there's a band that'll just kind of pop up. The ones that popped up are Crowbar, I Hate God, Black Sabbath, High on Fire, and a little bit of Pentagram. And that's not a bad thing, because Pentagram, you could almost classify them as like one of the top tier founders, like, Pentagram, Sabbath, Witchfinder General, etc., etc. Steve and Mike's riffing are all-encompassing in every aspect of this record. Technical, slow, the timing is absolutely fucking stunning on this. The vocals from Scott have improved tenfold. I like the first record. I like this far, far better. Because when you record stuff from a few years ago, it ages well, but this I find is going to age much better. And live, you actually get the full range. His screams, his cleans, and his lower end stuff. He's got a little bit of spoken word, especially in the midsection of Murderous, which is beautiful, by the way. I should mention that. There's just enough melody in there to make it sort of not a spoken word. I actually find that there's, in some sections of this EP, you can almost hear a bit of Troy Sanders from Mastodon. And I know the band loves Mastodon, so it's... when I hear these kind of things, my ears perk up and I get excited because I know these guys have the talent and the capability of doing this kind of thing. Kiri. What am I going to say about this dude? Well, simple. The guy hates wearing pants. I mean, that's just a given. I'm wearing shorts because, well, at some point I'm probably going to be going out. Sorry, Jay. This is basically his best work on the kit. Period. And I've heard the Down in Black record. I've played with this guy live in Down in Black. We've played together with Red Usurper. And honestly, this is the best I've ever heard of him. He doesn't overdo it in any facet of his playing. He keeps it very tasty to what the song calls for, yet still maintains a very heavy-handed playing style, to the point where I wonder how his kid actually stays together, like in one piece. Like he's got this John Bonham thing when he plays. It can be technical, it can be simple, yet it's still heavy enough to you're thinking, Jesus, how the hell is that kit going to stay in one piece? I don't know. I've been questioning that for a long time. I really, really look forward to seeing these guys live, especially with Marcus, because I think a guy of sort of underground legend status that Marcus has, I think it's going to give a different flavor. And I think having, not that Matt and Tyler didn't know what they were doing in the band, because the first record's good, but this really surpasses it. I don't know, like, and it's really only 3 songs and they're 8. It's like an 8 average of 8 minutes. One song is like almost 10 minutes long. And not that there's anything bad with that, but because in this sort of genre, that's a typical thing, right? Slower, longer, heavier. It takes you on a musical experience and a journey and a ride that leaves you wanting more. Because I'm only getting 3 songs here, I need more. I'm sure they're going to do more, but we all know what's happened over this last year. This last year, it's gone to absolute shit. That's besides the point. Look no further. If you want sludgy, stoner, doob riffs, September 25th, you need Of Bones and Rags by Red Usurper. This motherfucker, all day long, 4.5 out of 5. I don't give a shit. Change my fucking mind. Okay? Oh, wait. You can't.